Yes, we are here. It's very, very exciting. Very exciting, y'all. Invite a friend. Let me. How do I. Sarah, I don't know how to add you. Okay, nope. Let's do this. Sarah. Oh, somebody's here. Sarah, is that you? I can't see. Hey Tiffany, thank you for being here. We're about to get my girl Sara on. This is about to be amazing. Stick around. Let me get her on. Hey, okay, so Sara, can you request? I see you already. You already ahead of the game, girl. You know what it is. Yes, okay, let me see. Sara is coming in now. Yes,
Yeah,
we got
hey, how
Sarah.
are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, let me do this. Let me see if I can invite a few
Sure.
people. This is about to be so amazing. Okay, let me invite one more person. Ugh, y'all know I get scared. I don't want to think they talk to me. Okay, let me do Bob. Bob. Okay. All right. Yes, we are here. The time is finally here. We've been talking about this for so long, and we are finally here. Sarah, are you as excited as I am?
I am.
Good, 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 good. So while folks are jumping in, while our sisters are joining us, I'll just get started with a little bit of an intro and what we are aiming to do today. I am very, very excited. Again, let me give a huge thanks and virtual hug to you, Sara, my
Oh, you're
sister. Thank you
welcome.
for agreeing to do
You're
this.
welcome.
This is very, very exciting. So, ladies, as you are joining us, welcome and thank you for being here on this Sunday afternoon for Purposeful Journeys. Today we are pulling back the curtain. Okay, this is Sunday. We letting it all hang out.
That's right.
Okay, we are going to be real. That's right, Sara, right? And this is, I tagged it a fireside chat with two wives. Sara and I are wives. We are women of God, and we have had our share of struggles. So we just want to touch on um, kind of whatever comes up. We're not going to be totally scripted, but I definitely want to encourage our sisters who may have been struggling. It was an extremely tough year last year, and I can't even believe it, but we've made it halfway through this year. And, people have dealt with loss of loved ones, loss of income, loss of confidence, just so much loss and everything. But Sara, both you and I, through loss,
Yes.
through struggle, we have persisted on, we have pushed on, and we're still here. We're
Yes.
here to tell the
Thank the Lord.
story. So, yes, thank the Lord. You said it exactly right. Thank the Lord. So it's an exciting place to be, and Purposeful Journeys was birthed out of a conversation that I was having with a couple of sisters of mine on how to shape different conversations to empower people, uplift people, mainly women, but we have done some on a public forum where our brothers were able to join. And we just want folks to know that they are not alone. And our goal is to be purposeful while we are in this journey. So we are very, 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 very excited. Sara, what I'm going to do, I'll
Mhm.
give folks just a couple more seconds. I
Sure.
know folks are about their weekend and
Oh, yeah.
everything, and folks are possibly getting ready to, even start resting, I'm sure, but getting ready to prepare for the week and everything. Sunday is a big laundry day for folks, food prep, all of that.
Yeah.
So I know some folks are going to be joining us in a moment. And I would like to say this is a little groundbreaking for me because not on Facebook have I ever done a that I've initiated a dual conversation like
Oh,
this. So
really?
I'm excited and nervous.
Yeah.
I'm excited and nervous. But what I'm going to do, Sarah, I am going to do an introduction, and I want you to start whichever way you want to, and you can tell folks a little bit about yourself. But I want to introduce to some and present to others none other than my sister and my friend, Sara Rembert Lundy. She's an amazing woman, a great friend. She is a master jeweler, okay, and a great baker, just a wonderful businesswoman. And she became a client of mine last year, totally unexpected, but it's been such a blessing. And our conversations have literally been life changing. So we just wanted to give you a peek in today to some of the chats that we have and some very personal, courageous things that she has shared with me. And she and I have more in common than I even knew. I'm talking about 6, 8 months in, and I still didn't realize. So, Sara Rembert Lundy, again, thank you. Tell our sisters a little about yourself and whatever is on your heart to share to start off.
Sure. Well, originally I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I moved down
Yes.
to Georgia about 11 years ago and have started a career in, well, I was in jewelry in Nashville, but I started a career in jewelry down here. Very exciting. I love it. I'm studying to get a graduate gemology degree,
Yes.
which is really exciting and really hard. Uh, So yeah, and I love it down in Georgia. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be your client. You have really brought so much to the table, and you have just changed my life.
Sara, don't listen. It's too early. I'm not going to be crying on this broadcast, but I appreciate you. And I share this with my clients. Folks don't understand that I get as much from you all
Oh,
as you from me, because when you share and when we're growing and having those breakthrough moments, it causes me to have to reflect even deeper, because one thing about it, God speaks, through prayers and different things, and he always reminds me, okay, you putting folks on a plan, you need to get on a plan. And I'm like, ooh, okay.
that's right.
Okay, look, correction, just like a father, just like a natural father, it's like, okay, girl, you
Yes,
got to get it together. But I was thinking about, especially, the weeks leading up to this,
yes.
I was thinking about how you and I met, and I always flag you
Oh
as a
yeah.
master jeweler because you and I met in Augusta Mall
Yes.
at the jewelry store, and I was shopping, and then at one point I wanted to get my jewelry cleaned because I had been a huge fan of your store, the particular store that you were at that time, for a
Yeah.
long time, my husband and I. And that day it was our destiny
Yes, it
to
was.
meet. Like, where you remember, tell me what you remember from that day.
I remember a very godly woman coming into my store, and I knew that off the bat just from my heart. And you talking about your struggles somewhat, and that you had a book out, and that you promised me that you'd bring the book by soon, and you did. And I read that book, and it was so good. I
Yes.
loved that book.
Sara, listen, you and I, the thing about it was so crazy. You and I immediately clicked. It
We
was
did.
just like, okay, no, that's my buddy. That's my new that's my new buddy right there. And so at that time, of course, this was pre-COVID. And so
Sure.
I was in the mall all the time. Like, a lot of people know Macy's is my favorite store. And I've had to switch to online since the pandemic, but I was in the mall all the time. And that particular day, I know at the time I was looking for either a thumb ring or a pinky ring, both, because I
Correct.
just that's just something that I had wanted anyway. And God had it so that you and I would meet, and we spoke. And at that time, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you had just had a procedure on your foot, right?
I did. Yes, I
Yeah.
did. As a matter of fact,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yep. And that's kind of what stood out to me. And I just believe that God has a specific reason for everything, because
Yeah.
who would have thought what we would consider a chance meeting,
Yes.
okay, and just me taking notice of your injury would lead to this. And I
Oh,
believe
yeah.
literally from this conversation that lives are going to be changed. We're getting ready to get into it in a minute. So you had your boot on, and so you
Yeah.
were beautiful and
Thank you.
very pleasant. And when I noticed that boot, I said, "Up, this is it." I said, because at the time, so this had to be, oh gosh, was this? So this must have been 19. Yep, this was 2019.
Correct.
So I'm still fairly fresh off my healing. A
Yes.
lot of folks know that I spent a lot of time in the hospital in 2018. And so coming out of that, just not too long have been removed from having to be on oxygen support
Gosh.
24 hours, like dragging the oxygen tank around. That during that time, I was not in the mall very much at all, because I was literally scared that I would run out of oxygen. Like I
Sure.
would be in the house. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I got this burning in me that whenever I saw anyone with an ailment that I could physically see, or if their spirit just kind of spoke to me, I would reach out to them. I did not care. I've always been a very friendly person, but when I saw you, I said, "Oh, I have to let her know she can be healed." Everything. So
Absolutely.
it it was it was meant to be. It was
It
clearly meant to be.
was. It was. You made my day that day. You sure did. I was so
You made
excited to
my
meet
day
you.
because
Oh,
you can tell when someone is kind of being fake and phony
sure.
and, trying to say, oh, okay. But you were really interested in
Hmm.
what I had to say, and you were really interested in the book. And I've come to know that you're an avid reader anyway, and you
Yes,
just love books. So,
I do. I do.
yes. So that was just wonderful. And I felt so good that just from a conversation that I could get my work in your hand. My heart
Yes.
went into that book. And this for folks that may be wondering, this was my first book, my prayer journal. Journal for Your Journey, 31 Days of Prayer to Center Your Soul. And Sara didn't reject it.
Mm-mm.
I've come to know that she's a woman of God, and so it's just been amazing. Now, what I don't remember, do you remember? Because I, at that time, if again, if we click like we did, I know that I gave you my personal phone number, but somehow we wound up being Facebook friends. I don't even remember how necessarily.
Oh, I do. Because I looked you up on Facebook to thank you for the book and to tell you how much I enjoyed it. So that's how we became
Okay.
Facebook friends.
Yes. I promise you I didn't remember that. We hadn't even talked about this. I didn't remember that. And so it's been it's been a whirlwind since
Sure.
then. And Sara is extremely supportive. That's how you know when you connect through the heart with someone. So, Sara follows me on the social media,
Hmm.
and she's an amazing part of this Chosen Chick discussion group. She's
Thank
always
you.
in our Thursday night live and everything. So, Sara, let's get into the meat of
Sure.
it a little bit.
Okay.
We're not going to hold folks long. So, let's talk about, you're a Nashville girl, right? Look,
Yes,
I made sure I wore my Georgia bracelet because you're a Georgia girl now, right? But but you're a Nashville girl
I am.
at heart. But let's talk a little bit. Share with us how you came to be in the state of Georgia.
Well, it's kind of a long story, but
Go, yes.
I was living in Nashville and I struggle with mental health issues. And I was going through a very, very difficult time in my life. I don't know how much detail you want me to go into, but
As
um,
much as you want, plenty.
okay.
Go.
So I really struggled with bipolar and um, ADD and depression, bipolar depression. And I was having such a hard time, and my medications weren't right, and I was not doing well. And I was praying to God, and I just, I wasn't getting any relief. And I was going to psychiatrists, and I wasn't getting relief. Well, long story short, I attempted suicide, and came very close to dying. I prayed to God that night when I was in ICU. I said, please, God, if you can get me out of this, I will stop drinking. I'll stop smoking. I'll do anything you want me to do. And he took away those urges from me, and he saved my life. So it was, there's no other way to explain it, but it was completely God. I had just gotten divorced from my second husband, which was awful. We weren't married that long. He turned out to be not the best person for me, and it was not divine. It was awful. But anyways, I was dating a fella in Georgia. His name is Chris. He's my husband now, and he
and your two families knew each other, right?
That's correct. I knew Chris from college, and we had just reconnected on Facebook. And he called me that night, and he wouldn't answer, and he wouldn't answer, or I wouldn't answer. And finally, I picked up the phone and I answered that particular night that I attempted suicide. And he said, "What is wrong with you?" And I said, "Well," and I told him what I'd done. He said, "Oh my God, let me call your dad." So he called my dad. This is like in the middle of the night. And he said, "You know, your father, he said to my father, he said, Sarah's just attempted suicide. You need to get over there quick." So Dad came over, rushed me to the hospital. I was in ICU for 3 days, and I wound up in a mental hospital for some time. But I got the treatment that I needed there. And that was divine. That was all God. Well, Chris and I, of course, became closer over this. And so I moved down. This is how I got to Georgia, was because I moved to Georgia to get away from all the bad stuff in Nashville, and moved down here. And my life has been fantastic ever since, because I've gotten the help that I needed. I've gotten the good help in Georgia. I have my husband. I'm happy. You know, I'm following God. It's a good thing. So because my path before wasn't always led by God. I was doing the wrong things. I was being destructive to myself. I was being destructive to others because I was so sick. And it wasn't divinely planned for me. But it was, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
That's the thing.
I'm so glad you said that. Yes. That's wonderful. Let me double back just a little bit, because mental health is so important, and we don't talk about it nearly enough. So guess what? Anxiety is a mental health issue. Depression is a mental health issue, and these are real issues. So I don't want to brush you with a broad stroke, Sarah, but would I be correct if I said that you were really trying to numb your pain?
Yes, I was, very much so, with alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, men, just to be honest. Anything to get my mind off of it. Because I was, like I said, I was so sick at the time, and anything to distract me. At work, I put in overgear at work, and just work, and then came home and drank, and you know, I just was trying to numb myself just to get my mind off of what was going on in my mind.
Yes, it was almost like you were trying to, not to sound cliche, but you were trying to drown your sorrow.
I was.
You didn't really want to be alone with your thoughts. You didn't want to be quiet and with yourself.
Oh no, that was scary.
Yes. And would you say, let me ask you, I don't even know if we covered this particular topic in our discussions before, just you and I. If you could put a pin in, and it may be 3 things, it may be 4 things, but if you could put a pin in the issue that you think that was really just kind of gnawing at you, what would you say it was?
I was extremely lonely.
Okay.
I was
Mm-hmm.
extremely lonely. Like I said, I just gotten divorced from an
Mm-hmm.
awful marriage, and
Mm-hmm.
I was by myself and struggling so much with mental illness, and I was
Mm-hmm.
very, very lonely.
Yeah.
I had my cats, my dogs, but sometimes that doesn't always help. It didn't help
Yes.
at the time. It does
Yeah.
now, but it
Yes.
doesn't always help at the time. Um,
Yes. And
if
you
that
are
makes
an
sense.
animal lover. You
I
have
am.
rescued
Yeah.
many animals.
Yes,
So you needed a real companion.
I did.
And the animals, may have been sort of a band-aid or something,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But they weren't it.
No.
They weren't it. And what I've come to know, and so I listen, my thing, I'll talk about this maybe a little bit later, but sometimes in song lyrics and even in movies, someone will say something, and it's just like, oh my God, that put words to what I was feeling. And I heard someone say, I feel like it's from a song, but I can't recall which one
Hmm.
now. But there's a saying that we have a God-shaped hole in our hearts,
Yes.
and only He can fill that.
That's correct.
Only He can fill that. We may try to pour alcohol in it, we
Yeah.
may try to toss drugs, and we may try to bury it under someone in a bed. Okay, I know I did.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
know I did. Okay, we may try to bury it under partying,
Yes.
under a brash personality,
Yes.
whatever it is, but that hole can only be filled by God.
Yes.
It can
Oh
only be
yes.
filled by God. So wonderful. And we're gonna get into the meat. Like I said, we're pulling the curtain back. So that night when you were at that low point, um, had you taken pills and alcohol or what?
Yes. A lot of pills. I was
Mhm,
really trying to do a good job at this. A lot
mhm.
of pills and a lot of alcohol. Like I won't even tell you how much or how many pills and what kind of pills because it was a deadly combination. Um,
Yes.
and fortunately, my dad was there and got me to the
Mhm.
ER in time and into ICU because
Yes.
I wouldn't have survived the night.
Oh
And
my
that was my
God. You
point.
could,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, you could have literally fallen asleep,
Yes,
drifted into a coma, and
yes,
never woke up again.
that's correct. And that
And
was
that's
my,
what you had actually aimed to do, right?
I did, because I was hurting so bad. I didn't want to feel like that anymore. I just didn't, I just thought, I can't live the rest of my life this way. If I have to live the
Mhm.
rest of my life this way, I'd rather be dead. And
Yes.
so I did a really good job, but not quite good enough, thank God, because I
Thank
would have
God.
missed out on so much good stuff. And
Yes.
that is God.
Yes. Yes. And one thing about it, we can't take control from Him. We
Mm-mm.
can't take power from Him.
No.
And when we grow, sometimes we have to experience these tough things to realize that He really does know best, even when He lets us go through a painful situation. So your first husband had become deceased,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Then you remarried, and that was just a
Awful.
toxic, abusive
It
relationship.
was. It was terrible. Yes.
hmm And thank God you got out of that.
Yes.
And then, some time had passed, and he actually has passed on
That's correct.
as well. But in that time, and I'm as a woman, with a loving husband, thank God, because I mean, I did everything to chase him away. So I'm laughing, it's really not funny.
Me too.
It's really, really terrible just being bullheaded and stubborn, and it was terrible. But like you said, God had it divinely planned. And
Yes.
so these guys have stuck it out with us, Prince with me.
Yes.
And then it's so funny, both of our husbands are named Prince.
Exactly.
Yes. And but I just want to point out for folks, because I was just sharing with my sister, um not yesterday, Friday, about divine connection
Mhm.
and divine appointment. So guess what? And I don't know if you and I have even talked about this like this, but guess what? You were in college,
Yes.
and whomever noticed too, but you and Chris noticed each other.
We did.
You friends, a little more or what have you. And then, you grew up, you went your separate ways, but you reconnected on social media, which social media can definitely be a curse and a blessing. It's so
Correct.
much crazy stuff going on social media right now. But I'm thankful that I've seen businesses launch on social media. I'm seeing ministries launch on social media. So that is good. And you and Chris reconnected on Facebook. And then in the moment where you really needed someone, that was God that whispered to you, answer the phone. Chris would not stop calling.
He would not stop calling. I thought,
He
who is
would
this
not stop
fool?
calling. And
Yeah,
it's late at night.
it's late at night.
He knows that something is wrong. He knows his friend. He knows
Yes.
his girl. And he calls you. And thank God he had your dad's number. He had a
I
way to
know.
contact
I know. That was
because
all
that could have,
divine.
yeah, all divine. Thank you. All divine. Because, okay, let's just say, okay, if he had to call 911 himself, and they came over, they may or may not have gotten there in time. They
Sure.
may or may not have been able to get, like, to your specific address, anything. But he was able to get a hold of your dad.
Yes. Thank God.
Thank God.
Yes.
Thank God. Thank God. That's wow. I just say,
Yeah. It gives me chills.
yeah, seriously, me
Yeah.
too. Me too. But I love this story because God has a way. And the thing about it is, guess what? We have to remember God knows everything. So way back in college, when you were 19, 20, he knew years down the road,
Yeah.
husbands down the road, jobs down the road. Come on, that you would need Chris at that time. And he set it all up.
He sure did. He sure did. It was all divine. It was all God. I can't take any credit for it. It was all God. Um, it's just amazing.
Seriously,
It's just
amazing
amazing.
is definitely the word.
Yes.
Amazing is definitely the word. Wow, 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 wow. When I think about that, and it just makes me smile because I remember going back to when we first met.
Hmm.
Um, it was just literally after I met you, it was just another excuse. It's like, okay, of course, I'm gonna see what they have in Macy's, see if they have it, if they have anything cute on sale. And I'm gonna go see my girl Sara. I'm gonna see,
Yeah.
what she has going on. And they may finally have the ring that I'm looking for. It's just like, so like this was my thing. It's like, this is gonna be a part of my week, or every couple of weeks I gotta go see my girl.
Yeah.
And so I'm so thankful that it worked out this way. And then I believe what it was, you and I had also exchanged email addresses because, again,
Yeah.
you've been so supportive, Sara.
Thank
And
you.
whatever, I think what it is, I've adopted this saying that I stole from someone. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So
Right.
my vibe drew you, and yours drew me too, right?
Oh,
And so, seriously. And you and I have been friends. We've been sisters ever since. And you always, encourage things like, and I don't want to say this the wrong way because I don't want people to think that likes and stuff on social media is so important. But
right.
I will say to folks who are, ministry leaders, community leaders, even content creators, even business owners or aspiring business owners, take notice of your folks who are really engaging, who really are paying attention and kind of hungry for what you put out. Those are the people that I believe in my heart God is sending you to pour in. I never, never, never would have imagined. I honestly, my soul would have been satisfied if I got my book in Sara's hand. She smiled and was happy, and we didn't talk again. I would have
Oh.
felt like I fulfilled what God said. But he said, nope. There's another level to this, right?
That's right.
There's another level to this. And so I do remember one day, completely out of the blue, you emailed me
Yes.
and you said that you wanted information about coaching. You wanted to work with me so you could develop spiritually and
Yes.
personally.
Yes.
And I was like, wow. I was just so excited because it was kind of a full circle moment. So, tell us a little bit about what was it like? What made you send that email?
Well, I knew that you could help me. I just knew in my heart you could. And I was looking for help to get closer to God because I feel like, I'm not going to say I feel like I owe it to him. It's not that. But I feel like for my life to be more complete, I need to be closer to God. And I knew you could help me with that. So that's why I'm like, let me get a hold of her and get some coaching, and it's been life changing. It has helped me so much. Um, but that's really what that was about, is I knew I
Yes,
needed help, and
yes,
guidance and um, encouragement. And I knew I couldn't do it all by myself. So
yes. And that was wisdom on your part. Again,
thank you.
when we have these spiritual nudges,
Yes.
these little pings on our heart, when that hair kind of stands up on our arm,
Yes.
we have to follow that. We have to go with, especially as women, because we are nurturers, we are birthers.
Mhm.
Very, very important for us to follow those intuitions, because guess what? Actually, the larger world calls it intuition, but that's really the Holy Spirit. That
It
is
is.
the Holy Spirit in us saying, okay, this is the next step. This is the leaning. This is where we should go. And so when you sent me that email, and you'll remember this in some of our first conversations. So my thing, folks know that I work with women and entrepreneurs, and when you talk to me about your gifting, of course, I knew the jewelry piece of it, but the fact that you're an amazing baker and cook,
Thank
and I found out that you had a catering business
you.
at
Mhm.
one time, and I'm like, oh, what's it? So kind of scratch that a little bit, and just knowing that you, and talking more, knowing that you are fully confident and fully comfortable in your business, which is heavily marketing. You're doing something that you love, but it's big with marketing and sales, relationship and
Yes.
personality. And you were clear with me early on, and I love it. And this is something that a coach, a mentor, and a leader needs to know and pick up on. um, I know that I'm anointed. I have a
Yes.
gifting to pull businesses out of people, but even further beyond that, higher level, and I believe even a greater level of glory to God, I have an anointing to push people, to exalt them, lift them up spiritually. And that is what you wanted more
Yes.
than anything. And I was just like, okay, let's rock, let's go.
That's exactly what I wanted. Um, because I'm very happy in my career. I'm very happy in my life, but I wanted to get closer to God. I just wanted to get
Yes.
closer. And like I said, I needed the help, and I still need the help. And um, I couldn't do it all by myself. So, and I
Yes.
needed someone like you, and
Yes.
I knew you could do it.
Yes. Yes.
So,
And I so appreciate the faith and the trust in me, because even still, we have that what one of my friends called that little troll in the back, that ice
yes.
troll, which is that negative self-thought, that self-doubt. And I can list out my successes. I do it on social media because I want folks to know I'm results driven. But
Sure.
even with that, every now and then, that dark voice, which I believe comes from the enemy, I believe it comes from the pit of hell, that
Yes.
tells you, oh, nobody's going to listen to you. This is not worth it. Why are you even doing that? Like, this is stupid. And you have these thoughts, but our Bible tells us, there's a way to combat those thoughts. And when folks like you, who I love and I trust, can share those encouraging words, it means so much. And it helps
Mhm.
to melt that troll that's back there in my mind. So
Right.
I so appreciate that.
Oh, no worries. Of course.
I really, really do. Um, it was something else that I'm forgetting that I wanted to say, and I'm not remembering it. But what I want to do, this is going to be a little segue. So one of these things you and I talked about briefly, but I want to share two posts from Instagram, and I want to get your reaction to this because I
Sure.
feel like this is going to be an interesting part of the next little piece of our conversation. We're not going to talk folks' head off, but I know this. Okay, so the one you and I haven't talked about this one because I actually just saw this today.
Okay.
One, I think you could call her an influencer. She's a counselor of sorts. Um, Dr. Tama, she says, people wonder how you keep your calm. They don't know you grew up in a storm. They
Oh,
don't know
wow.
you grew up in a storm. And so that grew up, it doesn't necessarily have to be childhood. It doesn't have to be
Sure.
at home with mom and dad, but growing in this journey, okay,
Yes.
journey to becoming, that thing that you're meant to be. So what is your take on that? How do you feel about that? Because it really just spoke to me and I was like, oh, I can't wait to tell Sara this.
Well, I think that we all I mean, everybody goes through traumatic times in their lives. It might be childhood, it might be young adult, it might be adult. And, I had a great childhood growing up,
Hmm.
but, I went through some trauma and with the mental illness. And so, where was I going with this?
About your storm and being calm in the storm.
Yeah, you can be calm in the storm. You sure can, because you've been through these trials. And if you look to God, He will help you.
Yes.
Help you
And
remain calm.
yes, I love that. And that's so important to remember because I think another tactic, I see Alexandria has joined us. The thing
Good.
is doing weird. I can't see who all is joining in, but if I see somebody I know, I'm going to say hi. Hey, Alexandria, thank you for being here. Um, One thing that I think that is another trick is to try to get us to forget that we have overcome these things.
Hmm.
Like things have tried to beat us down in life
Yes.
before, but we survived it. We are still here to tell the story, right?
Yes. Yes. And unfortunately, sometimes we ruminate on the past, and
Mhm.
we've got to stop doing that, because you can't
Yes.
change it. You
Say
can't
that,
change the
Sarah,
past.
please say that again. Say it
We
again, please.
we cannot ruminate on the past. It can't be changed. There's nothing we can do about it. We did the best we could at the time with what we had, and we have to
Yes.
forgive ourselves. And I struggle
Yes.
with that sometimes. I really do.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Thank you for saying that.
You're
Me
welcome.
too. So let me just pull the sheet back off of myself because I
Sure.
promise. And this may be new to someone, but you all know I'm an open book. So I really still beat myself up sometime. Not too bad, but I'm always like, man, girl, you are so stupid because I literally grew up in the church, right? And I knew that that was a life force for me.
Sure.
And I had certain morals and values and standards that I had been taught from young that I knew. But for literally about 18 months from about, so this was, I can honestly say that it started probably in, let's say, 2016,
Hmm.
so around 2016, and probably late 2016, and it went through all of 2017 until I started getting ill. So me going down a stupid path, like not being respectful to my husband, doing anything I wanted to on my job, spending money any kind of way that I wanted
Right.
to, questioning things, that were being taught at church that I knew already were true and that I had practiced, but just getting away from those things. And it was just to my detriment. I was
Yes.
spiritually and then became physically ill
Yes.
because I just decided that I just wanted to rebel. And it was like, for what? For what? I gained absolutely nothing. The only thing I'll say, I won't say I gained nothing. Let me take that back because I believe even in our moments of rebellion, even when we find ourselves on a road or a path that we should not be on. I believe that God lets us learn things. And conversations like this are so important because we can share, and hopefully, two things. Hopefully, we can get someone to avoid those paths and
Yes.
those choices altogether, or if not, if they, for whatever reason, can't get their mindset to shift and not go that way, to at least know that there is still some redemption there. They still can come back
Of
when they're
course.
ready. They can get it straight. Would you say
Absolutely.
that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. God is the most forgiving. And I know it's incredible to be forgiven. It
Yes.
just makes you,
Over and over.
and over and over again, and still being forgiven. Um, but yeah, that's God for you.
That's
The,
God.
hmm
That is God, the Almighty. Wow. Okay, so then the next post
Okay.
um, is the one that you and I talked about, and I actually, my trailblazers. Shout out to my trailblazers. I'm going to share that information for folks who are interested in joining my online community, the email community. Um, this post by this young lady who I can't even really read her social media handle, so I'm not going to try to attempt that. But a Instagram friend of mine reposted it, and this post says, "Don't let this tainted self-love," she quoted it, "self-love trend have you 50 and alone because you walked away from everything that," again, quote, "didn't serve you, instead of learning conflict resolution." Now, you and I talked about that a
Yeah,
little bit. Tell me your
that blew me
thoughts on that.
away
Yes. Yes. Why? Why?
because it's so true. I mean, I think that sometimes we get so caught up in ourselves and like, oh, you did something wrong to me. Well, forget you.
Oh,
And, you know, and just cut that person out when you really should have sat down with the person, had a conversation, explaining your side, he or she explaining their side, and just having a
yes.
rational, like no yelling or
Yes.
breaking each other down. You can have a discussion without breaking another person down. And
Um,
and that is
so,
something I've learned over the years. Like I used to tear people down because I felt
yep.
so bad, and
Yes.
I was
Yes.
not following God, and
Yes.
I would just chew people up and spit them out, and they
Yes.
do one wrong thing, and they're
Yep.
gone. And
Yep.
but
Yes.
yeah, you
And
can.
Sarah, to know you, I would call you a liar. If I didn't know better, I would call you, because you're so sweet. I
Thank you.
can't imagine you being like that,
I
but
was.
I know you to be a woman of your word. I know you wouldn't just make that up.
Mm-mm. No, that's how I was. I was awful,
Okay.
and just awful, and just mean spirited and critical, and um,
Yes.
but
Yes.
the older I get, the less I am like that. And the more
Yes.
I get closer to God, the more, like, my husband and I, we have conversations. When something's going wrong, we have a conversation. We don't have a knockdown drag out. We don't have to do that, which is
Come
so
on. Come
refreshing.
on.
Which, like my other
Yes.
husbands, it was knockdown drag out.
Right, right, right. Oh my God, thank you for saying that, because I was just getting ready to say it's not Wednesday, but this is some wifely wisdom. Listen
Right.
to this, because so many times, and we have our list of, oh, we might want somebody tall, dark, and handsome, and rich, and great in bed, and all of these things.
Right.
Right? And it's like, that's fine and cute to put that on paper, but the fact of the matter is that there are some middle ground places that you're going to
Correct.
have to say, and you're going to have to balance it. And while we're trying to tick off boxes for someone else, we need to be very clear on what it is. Oh God, I don't want to, because there's a special guy influencer who I will not even say his name. I don't like him. He's becoming very popular. And I don't want to really use this term, but I will say we need to be aware of what we present as. I really don't want to say what we bring to the table, but I'll say what
Sure.
we present as, because we all have baggage, and we need to know that the reality is we may not be ticking off 10 boxes on somebody else's list.
Right.
But
Right.
when you say that you want to build something with someone, when you say that you want it to last, then you absolutely have to be able to have conflict resolution.
Sure.
Like you said, not just chewing somebody up and spitting them out, not going off to show them and prove them a point. Because I went through definitely the early
Right.
years of my marriage. I've shared with folks here in the sisters here in our Chosen Chick discussion group that Mr. Bolding and I did not have a honeymoon period because I was crazy. He was too, but because I was crazy. And I was just like, no, I'm gonna show him who I
Right.
am and make sure he knows that I'm not standing for that and he's gonna do it like this. And that doesn't work. That doesn't work. That just causes more bitterness.
It does.
That causes more resentment. And like the poster said, that if you continue to go down the road like that, that's just going to cause you to be alone. I mean, and if you're okay, and some people want to be alone,
Sure.
and that's fine. But we're talking to women who want to be loved and who want to share love, who want to actually be with somebody in a healthy relationship.
Right. Right. That's the
Right.
key. Healthy.
Yes.
That's the key.
Yes. Healthy and not toxic. And it's one thing that this post also made me think about because toxic masculinity, that's a term that gets thrown around so much now. The word toxic, period. Narcissist, that's a word that gets thrown around so
It
much now.
does.
And we want to label people these things and we want to say, no, that's not for us. But where's the grace in that?
Right.
Where's the love in that? When do we sit down, just as you said perfectly, when do we sit down to have a conversation and find out what's going on with someone? Maybe it's something you and I talked a little bit about our past. I had a very loving childhood, but I
Mm,
also had a very explosive
mm.
childhood, dealt with a lot of anger issues, dealt with
Oh,
a lot of ego issues and authoritarian issues, from parents and other family members. That was really just, I know it now as a spirit, that really was just a spirit that just kind of plagued my family. And so I had to kind of get past those things. And guess what? It took a loving husband who chose to stick it out to help me work through those things and want to be better.
absolutely. That's awesome.
Yep. So
That's awesome.
I'm just saying, I just shared that because, you and I have talked, so I know that I know that you feel me
Oh,
on
yeah.
that. But I just want to say we're probably gonna hop off in a few minutes. I just want to say, and I want to give you um the time again, just to say how important things like um taking care of mental health issues and being willing to ask for help,
Yes.
being to the place where you understand that first and foremost, God is your help.
Yes.
And you may need some help to get there, right?
Yes.
If
Yes.
you heard, that's what Sara said. That's why she reached out to me. She had a yearning and
Mm-hmm.
she knew from what I had shared that I could help her get to the next level spiritually. That's what she desired. And
Yes.
so these are just very, very important. Like you and I, we could easily talk 3, 4, 5 hours
Oh,
about
yeah.
this stuff and still not cover it all, right?
Right.
But I just wanted to really drive that message home that I'm so thankful that you, that ping in your heart or in the pit of your stomach, whatever it was, that just said, I do need help. So you did pick up the phone, you did get in the email, and you did those things to take care of yourself. You had that yearning, you
Yes.
didn't ignore it, or at least not for long,
No.
and you went after that. And you are so much clearer and centered now. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I want you to
No,
say.
that's so true. Oh, yeah.
So
I feel much better because I am closer to God, and I don't feel like he's this pie in the sky, outside of me. I feel like he's in me, in my
yes.
heart. And that has made all the difference, and it has
Yes.
changed my personality. It is in a
Mhm.
good way.
Yes.
And it just made me a better wife, a better person, a better employee, um, a better daughter. Yeah, just all the way
Yes. And
around. A better friend.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So important.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love that. I
Thank
love
you.
that. And I just, I'm just so thankful, Sarah. You and I have walked through this, and I'll just share a little bit. And if you want to share more, you
Sure.
and I have walked through, and what I'm just going to share what you have shared with me is
Sure.
that, in your home, in your marriage, you are a better person. You
Yes.
have lost weight because
Yes.
we put goals in place and we've stuck to them. You've had the confidence to change jobs. What?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
In a much better environment. Speaking of toxic, we're not going to throw salt on other people, but just
Right.
in a place where you can grow in your
Yes.
career. Before we get off, just tell us a little bit about, we're not going to name any names, but
Okay.
just tell us a little bit about the change from your previous job to now. Tell everyone, because I know, but the folks who are listening, watching, don't know, as far as your commute, your coworkers, the money, the whole thing. Tell us a little bit about
Sure.
that from then
Well,
to now.
okay. Well, I used to drive an hour each way to work, because I worked in Augusta, which is this a lot. I did that for 7 years, and
7 years.
yeah, that's a long time and a lot of miles on a car. And so I never had time to do anything, really. It seemed like the environment was toxic. There was a lot of threats of write-ups, and if you don't do this, we're going to write you up. If you don't do that, we're going to write you up. Um, People come into work in bad moods because of that.
Yes.
I had a boss that was kind of a tyrant. Um, is the best way of putting it.
Yep.
From to now, where I have a boss that is very loving, very spiritual, very so appreciative of what you do. If you sell something, he's like, "Thank you so much. Thank you for selling my jewelry. Thank you for And he'll even text you at night and saying, "Thank you for the great day." Things like that, where we didn't get that before. We didn't get a high five if we met goals. We did not get that.
Yes.
We didn't get a pat on the back. It was just like, if you don't do it, you're getting right up. You are getting a write up all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
to where I have the time to study, because I only have a 10-minute commute, and I have time at work to study because we're not overrun with customers, thankfully. I mean, we're steady, but I always have time to sit down and do like a 15-minute block of studying, which is perfect for me. And the people I work with are amazing. They're so awesome, and they're so encouraging. And we're not fighting over commissions,
Oof.
because of my other job, we had what you sold, you made commission on. At this job, everybody sells for the store, and once the store makes their goal, you get a bonus, regardless
Oof.
of how much you sell or how little you sell. Which there's that, so that competition is out of the way, so you can have friendly work environment. It's awesome.
Yes.
I love
I
it.
love that.
And
I
that was
love
God,
that.
absolutely God driven.
Yes, I love that. And you have real friends at work
Yes.
now,
Yes.
friends that you can share with. I won't get into the details because we're going to jump off here in a minute,
Okay.
but friends that you're even having shared goals with now at work.
Yes.
You all are working together to meet a goal personally, not just with the sales, which that's
Sure.
wonderful. So you're not beating each other down to the door, stepping on each other to
Sure.
get to the customer to try to get $1, hello,
Right.
to pay for all the gas money that you
That's
burning
right.
up for 7 years.
I know.
Okay, trying to get to work and home is 2 hours of your day.
It's
Okay,
really hard.
that by the time you get home, you don't want to have look at your husband. You just want to get in the bed.
That's right.
Okay, so that's just wonderful. But
Thank
the
you.
time to watch it happen in real time was wonderful, because I really feel like that was just a reward from God, because
Yeah.
you, Sara, I helped you, but I just held your hand, right?
Well,
I just kept you honest in the process. You went after him,
hmm.
and he turned right around and went after you. He said,
Yes, he
yes,
did.
and set these things up for you. Okay. And now I always call you a master jeweler, but you're even leveling up in that area, and just breezing through. I shouldn't say breezing through because it was hard,
It is
but
hard.
you did an amazing job getting through this gemology course. So you're getting ready to have another
Hmm.
certification under your belt. It's just amazing. Things are lining up because your mindset and your intentions are right by what God's standard. It's not for me to say it's right. It's not even for you to say it's right,
Right.
but it's God's standard. And
Yes.
I just love that. And
Thank
so
you.
with that, if you want to have another final word, I'm gonna invite folks to check out some more things that I have going on. But what would you like to have as a final word?
Um, just if you're struggling with mental health or anything else, reach out to somebody. Um, reach out to God. Um, just put your heart in His hands. He will help you and help you get through it.
Yes,
Absolutely. Just reach out to
absolutely.
somebody, somebody, anybody, and they will
Yes,
get you to the right place.
yes, yes. I love that. And that is
Thank you.
so important. That is why, and I just want to speak directly to a sister that's watching this. And this is I got Sarah's permission. This is
Yes.
going to go on YouTube later. So our brothers who will watch this later, of course, you might just tune in to see two beautiful women chatting, and you might get interested. Um, and you may have a struggle. Your struggle may not be like Sarah's and mine. Your marriage may not be falling apart. Your life may not be falling apart, or it may be. But you may have that yearning that you want to go to a higher level. You want to do something different. You know that there's more to life than what you have going on now. Let this message sink into you, okay? And you probably have a leader right in your community. It could be in your Facebook family, it could be in your church family. Reach out. Okay, and the more, let me just say, the more serious it is, if you have had thoughts of harming yourself,
Yes.
if you know that you are taking alcohol and substance to numb you, to cool your nerves, some of us might say, to so that you can sleep at night, then I just want to encourage you, my friend, my sister, and my brother, to please reach out to someone.
Yes.
And if you feel like the people who you can put your hand on, if you feel like you'll be judged or you won't really get the help that you need, then I encourage you to reach out to a professional. Of course, I nominate myself. Um, my tagline is I motivate women and entrepreneurs. I also work with men. Spiritual and mental clarity and centeredness is the most important work you'll ever do in your life. So if you've heard this and you know that you do need help, you don't even know what it is, but you know you need some guidance. You want someone to hold your hand, to keep you honest. Please, by all means, reach out to me. I do want to encourage you. I'm going to see, oh my goodness. Now, you know how it is. I'm going to see if I can put the link in here. Because if you go to my website, you can get coaching information so that the breakthroughs that you've heard Sara and I talking about, you can have them for yourself. You can go
Yes.
to my website, which is artishabolding.com/coaching is the coaching tab. And you can see that there are levels of engagement. If you're not sure if you're ready for a robust program, then you and I get together and have a conversation. We can do an assessment so you can be very clear about where you are and think about the next steps. There's so much that we can do. So I hit the button. Let me see. Oh boy. Wait. Okay, there it is. So I'm dropping the link. YouTube, of course, I'll include these links. So please do that. If you are even curious, definitely go to the site or drop a comment here, email me, what have you, so that we can at least have a conversation about what makes sense for you to do. We don't want anybody stuck. We absolutely don't want anybody hurting themselves. Okay,
Right.
if you are having those kinds of thoughts, and again, you don't want to talk to someone that you know, then there is a prevention hotline. I should have had that information. I will drop that in here. So when you do a replay, I'll make sure I put that in here. But by all means, dial 911. Dial 911
Absolutely.
to let somebody remove you. Would you say, Sarah?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay,
Reach out.
good. Yes. So just reach out to someone, and we pray that this was impactful, that this was purposeful, which is the name of this talk. That folks will be enlightened about just things that have been going on with myself and my sister, and seeing that we came out on the other side. And guess
Yes.
what? That means you can too. God loves all of us equally. We are all special. None of us is more special than the other. And God has blessed us to overcome major things. You heard this: suicide, depression, anxiety. Same thing with myself. Okay, I've shared plenty of times before. When I was on oxygen, I tried to sneak and cut the oxygen off so that I would drift off and
Wow.
not wake up. So
Oh,
I understand that. I completely
yeah.
understand that. So we just want to encourage you to get the help that you need. And thank you for those who tuned in. I saw several folks peek in, and the numbers were doing something, so it was kind of peeking in and out. But I know that you will catch the replay. You know my thing. Drop the comment hashtag replay if you couldn't be here with us live, or if you couldn't listen to the whole talk. Listen to the whole thing, because it's honestly been a blessing. And this will be available later on YouTube. Speaking of which, I definitely want to encourage you to please check out The Healed Girl on YouTube. I have new content for you every week. If you're feeling like you're in a stuck place, if you're feeling like I need a rejuvenation, I need an empowerment, there are lots of messages right there on the Heal Girl YouTube channel that I promise will bless you. There are prayers, there are Bible studies, and all kinds of inspirational messages and some funny stuff from me. And so I think that will bless you. And I'm gonna try to attempt this one more time, Sarah. I
Okay.
put these links on my clipboard to try to see if I can do this, because I don't play this. I don't. I'm
I
having to
don't
be
either.
my own producer today. Okay, wait one second. Okay, there is the Hill Girl YouTube link, and it looks like my great friend Rosemary popped in to check on us. Hey, Rose. And it also looks like my gorgeous sorority sister Bernice popped in to check on us as well. So just want to say shout out to you ladies and thank you. By all means, go back and catch the replay, because this has been an amazing chat. It's been mind blowing to see this beautiful woman sitting across from me who had so many struggles and who came literally this close to ending it all. But God had a different plan for her.
Yes, he did.
And I'm so thankful that she's in my life, and I'm crazy enough to believe that he wouldn't let her end it, because she had to meet me. And we had to speak to
Yes.
you on today, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So we're about to get out of here. The last thing that I will say to folks, again, let me just reiterate that if you're curious at all, if you're burning, yearning, hurting inside at all, and you know that you need some help, reach out to someone. You can definitely reach out to me. I've dropped my information there. If you say, okay, I just need to hear something good, I just need to feel something good, then I've also dropped more information with the YouTube channel. And the last thing that I will share is I'm gonna have you covered on all ends, right? I'm also going to share the Trailblazer email community and you fun stuff there. I always have great chats, but I also have free gifts, discounts, everything. The latest and greatest that's going on with me, you will have in this Trailblazer email community, which is absolutely free. So I'm gonna drop that link as well. Right before we sign off, and I just want to end this by saying, of course, thank you to you all that tuned in and to those that'll catch the replay. But big, huge thanks and a huge virtual hug to you, my sister
Oh,
Sara. Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
You are so welcome. Thank you.
I so appreciate this. I'm gonna have to do something special for you for this because you really didn't have to do this. But thank you for sharing your time
You're
and your
welcome.
life with us and with the world. It means so very much. And do know that God is smiling on you for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
All right. So as we sign off, I'm gonna drop this last link, and you all have an amazing rest of your Sunday. Have a wonderful week. Know that we are rooting for you. We appreciate you, and we think that God has great things in store
Yes,
for you. Would you agree, Sarah?
absolutely.
All right, you all have a wonderful one, and we will talk real soon. Hello.
Bye, y'all.
Bye bye.